Welcome to day 2. Were any of you guys here for yesterday? I can't hear you. Were you here yesterday? Are you here today? This is morning. It's a great day. We're excited. I'm super excited that we have this first session that will kick us off. It's always an honor for us to have luminaries with grace our stage because of the importance of what we do at the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity, the importance of what we do for the spirit of inclusion. And I want to bring to the stage right now Mr. Deepak Chopra. We don't have mics on the stage. We need mics on the stage. Come on in. So please celebrate. We're just gonna quickly, he's gonna give you a mic and mic the other chair too. So before we get started, I just wanted to say welcome to you and thank you so much for coming to Inkwell. We had a chat earlier about the importance of inclusion and what it means in the spirit of creativity. What does it mean for you to be in a place like this in the Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity and to know that Inkwell is one of the first times that a space of inclusivity has been created for this festival?
Well, right now, if you ask social scientists about the science of emergence, they say if there's shared vision, maximum diversity of gender, of race, of storytellers, songwriters, humanitarians, philosophers, scientists, then if everyone complements each other's strengths and creates an ecosystem of emotional and spiritual bonding, then there's no problem that cannot be solved, including climate change, extinction of species, social, economic justice, health, joy, mental distress. So it starts, of course, with inclusivity, which is another word for maximum diversity. And congratulations to Inkwell for being the leader.
Thank you very much. We know that keeping a clear mind and clear heart for you is important. And in this space of creativity, and this is like the Oscars of the advertising industry, the Cannes Lions Festival, in terms of being able to keep a clear mind for that inner spirit of creativity and being able to produce more. One of the things we do is we have meditating in the Mediterranean Sea with Caroline. I don't know if she's out there. But how important to you is that as a kind of catalyst for creativity?
Well, creativity has many aspects to it. It's really a new story, a new context, a new meaning, and a new model of looking at things. So it's a death and a resurrection. And there are many steps to it: information gathering, intended outcome, information analysis, incubation, insight, intuition, implementation, inspiration, incarnation. But as I mentioned all these steps, there's one that is extremely important. It's called incubation. And that is when you let go of everything and allow your spirit to organize the fulfillment of the intended outcome. That's where meditation comes in.
I think we have our word for the day, which is incubation. And that's where the meditation will come from. That's where the creativity will come from. And I think that's a perfect way for us to start kind of our next conversation, because you will have a conversation with our dear Melissa Stiers, who will come up and chat with you. And we will get our day started off with the future of well-being, especially in this new age of AI. So please welcome to the stage, everybody, Melissa Stiers, who's the head of Global Growth and Expansion at Mila.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, what a joy, what an honor to be with you, sir. What a beautiful venue. This is exciting. I'm so thrilled to be in the presence of Dr. Deepak Chopra, and we're just gonna dive in. We're gonna dive in. You come from a place of optimism and positivity, as do I, but there is a lot of fear right now taking place. There are a lot of people that are fearful of AI, of new technology, of what's happening and what's going on. And what would you say to those people that are really hesitant and fearful about bringing technology into their home, into their businesses, who are super hesitant and kind of have a negative outlook on that?
I'd like to make a distinction between optimism and being real, because a lot of people are hopelessly optimistic, and that actually seems they're in denial. We have issues in the world: climate change, social injustice, racial injustice, war, conflict. No amount of optimism is going to solve those problems. Creativity will, but when you have fear, especially about technology and AI, and then just know that any time a new technology came, there was fear. Fire, the first technology ever. Automobiles and airplanes all had risk. And of course, in the last few years or decades, we've seen technology for diabolical purposes, including drones and cyber warfare and hacking of politics and disruption of businesses. It's all there. You can see in deep fakes, it's all there. But having said that, technology is neutral. It depends on how we use it. The worst use of technology is fear, which leads to all these things. All these conflicts that come about, and the misuse of technology comes from fear itself. So the worst use of imagination is fear, and the best use of imagination is creativity. And you have to ask yourself, should I be fearful of this, number one? Why do I believe this is fearful? Am I 100% sure that this is going to be damaging? What is this fear doing to me? What is it doing to me? On many levels, creativity as well as biologically. What if I didn't have this fear? How would I be liberated?
Ooh.
And what is the opposite? So that has nothing to do with optimism. It's being real.
Being real. What if I didn't have this?
Super optimism is denial.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You often talk about the blend of science and spirituality. And as AI becomes this dominant force in science, how do you feel we should approach this integration of these two realms?
Even as I answer this, there's no real blend between science and spirituality. There is a blend between science and philosophy, because they're both systems of thought. Both systems of thought. They start with creating models. So science creates models of experience. Philosophy creates other models of experience. And now that we look at history, the history of humanity is creating models, religious models, philosophical models, scientific models, theological models, etc. Spirituality is not a model. Okay, spirituality is going to the source of all models. And now, if we look at the history of models, it's the history of language. And now we have a new model. It's called large language models. Okay, so no longer can you be confined in your model. Science, philosophy, theology, commerce, politics, because AI gives you access to all models. There's no human being that knows physics, biology, philosophy, astrology, astronomy, and religion and theology and culture and humanities. There's no human being that can do it. So what technology, AI does, giving us access to models, science models, physics, biology, mathematics, computer technology, and digital technology, that's a model. Okay, because it gives you access to a large language model, you will have an age that no human being has ever dreamed of.
And along those lines, how can we harness AI in this? You've alluded to this, that we're in times that are just traumatic. There's so much going on in the world. How can we harness the power of AI to really help combat and manage mental and physical health?
Well, in my area, I restrict AI's use to what I know. So I think AI can be a personal confidant. AI can be a health coach, a mental health coach. It can be a research assistant, and it can be a spiritual assistant or guide, a guru, so to speak. So that's in my next book, how to use AI to enhance personal well-being and also spiritual intelligence. I again say that very carefully. Spiritual intelligence, not spiritual experience. Okay, those are two different things. Spiritual intelligence, again, it's a model. What is the model? Is it non-duality? Is it duality, dualism? Is it monism? Is it consciousness-only monism? Is it matter-only monism? These are all models. So spiritual intelligence is, again, a model. It's not a spiritual experience. But once you know the map, then you can explore the territory. You see, you have to have, once you know the menu, you can choose what you want to eat.
I love that, once you learn the menu. Well, you're speaking about books, and I thought you were at 93, but you're actually at book 95, so you must be working on 96. But in your most recent book, you talk about the concept of digital dharma. And we were hoping, could you elaborate a little bit about this principle, what this is in this age of AI?
In Eastern wisdom traditions, what we call reality is a fluctuation of sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. That's all we experience. But the model of that in today's science is a digital model. Okay, so think of the universe and its origin, in a digital workshop outside of space and time. Okay, that's the model that corresponds to wisdom traditions. Everything is a fluctuation, a vibration. So think of the origin of the universe as a digital workshop outside of space-time, which is orchestrating this experience right now for humans, not for crocodiles or dolphins or elephants, for humans, because only humans make models. But once you know that the universe is a digital workshop outside of space-time, then dharma is for you to connect with that. Okay, that's dharma. It's your ultimate purpose, to connect with the source of all creativity, and not just human creativity, the creativity of the universe that is using digital technology to create those trees, to create this tent, not this tent, those trees. This tent is created by what we call, it could be created by digital technology too. We have 3D printing.
Yeah.
But think of the universe as a 3D movie in space-time. The theater of space-time and causality is a 3D digital movie from a source that's infinite. We call it spirit, or you can call it consciousness, you can call it awareness, you can call it just the source of all creation. Look at nature. It's a 3D printout of the universe's universal consciousness. And now we have 3D printouts that enhance our experience of the model that we call this. This is not reality. This body is not real. It's just a verb. If you say I have a body, then you have to say which one. Fertilized egg, embryo, baby, toddler, teenager, which one? There's no, the body is an experience, and it's a digital experience, by the way, because the body is orchestrated through fluctuations in consciousness, which we call sensations or qualia, which are qualities of experience that can be modeled through digital technology. So digital dharma is actually understanding digital technology, relating it to qualia experience, and going to the source of all experience, which is the source of all sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. So that's what digital dharma is, and I spoke to Sam Altman about it. He said we can use this to create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world.
I love that, tapping into the source and for an AI for good, which is what we are all about. And at MIA, we're a learning platform that's non-traditional, and there's a lot of tech startups out there and new platforms out there. What is your advice and what is your thought on this kind of new wave of education where it's not the 4-year, 6-year degree, but these micro-credentialing and kind of like the snippets of information? How are you seeing that play into maybe the traditional way we've always learned?
It's great, but remember that education never ends. It's not a 6-month thing that you should do. When you stop growing, which means you stop educating yourself, then you grow old. People don't grow old. They get old when they stop growing. So I would say all these micro technologies are great, but think of education as a never-ending horizon until the moment of death.
A never-ending horizon until the moment of death. That's very beautiful. And you're constantly learning, and you're also constantly teaching. And I would be curious for us, you've tapped on it a little bit. I like that you shared that there's a possibility for hope and for goodness and to bring peace. What makes you optimistic about what's happening in this new realm of technology?
I'm not optimistic.
Or not optimistic, but what might give you hope? What makes you
realistic?
Realistic.
Well, it's the creativity. It's the emerging creativity that comes from inclusivity, as we learned a little bit earlier. The Inkwell is an example of that. Maximum diversity is what will give rise to creativity, and maximum diversity of storytellers and model makers.
Model makers.
Map makers.
Love that. So looking at the future, and I've heard you talk about the future in I've heard different ways that you say it. What has you excited right now?
Just the possibility of reaching a critical mass for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. Just that. Just that vision.
And I also heard one other piece of advice that you give every day, the four different areas that you focus on, like when you're waking up in the morning. I was wondering if you could share that with the audience, like your intentions. And
joyful, energetic body, loving, compassionate heart, clear, creative, quiet mind, and lightness of being, lightness of spirit, joy.
And tell us the difference between the clear mind. I've heard you say this outside of that positivity mind. I like how you define that.
A clear mind is a quiet mind. A positive mind is a noisy mind. And a negative mind is also a noisy mind. You don't need a noisy mind, you need a quiet mind.
I have a noisy mind, so I'm constantly, once I've heard that, I'm like, okay, don't be so positive, just be present in the moment, So we're coming to an end, and we've got this amazing, beautiful audience in one of the most spectacular places I've ever seen with nature and with science and with technology and people that are really interested to learn and to grow. As we are closing out this moment in time, is there any piece of advice that you have for all of us sitting here, one thing that we can do, one thing we can take away as we're on the brink of all these new beginnings?
I think the most important thing is, if you really want to be a successful entrepreneur and not get burnt out, because I meet lots of entrepreneurs and they're totally burnt out, and they're not having any fun, and they're making a lot of money because they're so proud of their last exit, they've never thought of their final exit, which is called death. That makes actually life very magical. If you think that you have only a certain amount of time in the block universe of infinite time, then you should ask yourself, am I having fun? Am I hanging out with people who are fun to be with? And am I creating joy in the world? That's it.
Woo! I love it. having so much fun. This is so much fun. I am going to ask, as we come to a close, I would love for my CEO, Giannis Elakongas, and Chopra Foundation CEO, Punacha, and Emma from Accenture Song, and Sade from Time Magazine to come on up to the stage. We want to do one big family photo before Dr. Chopra has to depart. And as we're leaving here today with not optimism, but with realism and the possibilities, I am so just thrilled at what we can do as a collective when we're focused and when we're driven and when our heart is right and quiet. Thank you so much, Dr. Chopra.
Thank you, Melissa.